Welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Mike DeBoer, the president of B3 Science. Excited to share with you tonight's presentation on what doctors are saying. You know, typically you hear from me and some of our people that are experiencing B3 bands, but tonight we get to hear from some other doctors. A very well-respected medical doctor. I'll tell you a little bit more about him, Dr. Clay Coker, in a little bit, and then Dr. Steve Jennings, chiropractor who's world-renowned. People come from all over the world to see him. And they're going to share with you their opinion of, number one, their results with the bands and some of the science behind the B3 bands. And what everybody is starting to hear about is this new thing called BFR, or a new way to exercise. No longer do we have to think about high-intensity exercise to get results, or heavy weights, or flipping tires, or joining some type of gym that requires these hard 45-minute workouts. Now we can work out from anywhere with lightweight or no weight in less than 20 minutes and not feel any pain, which many of us experience, and not have any soreness the next day. And here's the profound part. You actually get a better workout when you have the bands on, and you get a growth hormone surge. And this results in better physical results, but more importantly, incredible health benefits, and it's all backed by science. You know, we all know what the secret is to exercise. As we grew up, we all know we're supposed to do aerobic exercise, and the secret formula is 4 days a week of about 45 minutes, and then strength training to have a healthy cardiovascular system, to have a healthy, lean, muscular body and a strong musculoskeletal system. Now, why is this vigorous exercise so important? Because if we do this our whole lives, we continue to release natural growth hormone, and that is anti-aging on the body. Look what the U.S. Department of Health says. Kids need 60 minutes a day of daily vigorous activity, not light activity, vigorous. Adults, 300 minutes per week. So this is 5 days per week of an hour of not light exercise, not walking the dog, not the treadmill, not a bike ride, not a 30-minute Zumba class. They're talking about 5 days a week of an hour of vigorous exercise that's high intensity enough to stimulate growth hormone. And then as we become older adults, seniors, 60s, 70s, and 80s, they still want us to be getting this 150 minutes a week of vigorous exercise. Why? Because it keeps us in the state of having natural growth hormone. And here's the problem. You know, when we're in our teens and early 20s, most of us don't have any problems. We're lean, we can eat anything we want, we're healthy, we're muscular. But guess what happens in your mid-20s? Your natural nighttime release of growth hormone slows down to about half of what it was when you're a teenager. By you're in your mid-30s, you're down to about 20%. And then in your 40s, you're down to 10%. And this is when the problems start in our 30s and 40s. Metabolism slows down. We gain weight and aging starts. We start to see wrinkles, low energy, low sex drive, cardiovascular disease, degeneration of the body and brain, loss of bone density, and arthritis. The solution to this is very simple. If we could do vigorous exercise every day, we could get a release of growth hormone during the day that would keep our growth hormone levels like we were when we were in our teenage years. Now, let me repeat this. If you could do vigorous, high-intensity exercise your whole life, like the U.S. Department of Health recommends, you would continue to get growth hormone levels that were similar to like you were when you were 18 years old. But here's the problem. To do this, you've got to do high-intensity exercise. What does that mean? That means you've got to do exercise where you feel the burn. You're lifting heavy weights, you're doing CrossFit, you're flipping tires, you're running sprints, and you're feeling the burn in your muscles for at least 10 minutes. This is how you get growth hormone. There's no secret. But here's the problem. 99% of the people on this call in the American population, and Dr. Coker and Dr. Jennings will probably talk to you about it, are not doing this. We have time challenges. We can't get to the gym. Many of us have pain and cannot tolerate high-intensity exercise. Those of us that are exercising on our exercise bike or yoga or playing pickleball or going for a jog. That's not high intensity exercise. No disrespect, but it doesn't produce growth hormone. And we wonder why we don't get results. Now we're stuck at home with this horrible situation we have. And again, the problem is people are not getting this exercise that releases this growth hormone that could keep them young and healthy. So why do the bands work? Look at the pictures here. You simply put these bands on your arms and legs. It takes about 15 to 30 seconds per arm or leg. You slide it up, you clamp it down, and you put a little air in it. It gently squeezes your muscles. Think of like a wristband or a headband that you're going to put on your arms and legs, and you just pump it up a little bit. It's not like a blood pressure cuff. All it's doing is slowing down oxygen. Now you start exercising. You're going for a walk. You're lifting little 2-pound dumbbells. You're on the exercise bike. And because there's less oxygen, you start to feel the fatigue or burn in your muscles like you're doing 5 times the amount of work, 10 times the amount of work. Yet you're doing something like walking that could never stimulate high intensity. And then when you're using these light or no weights, the magic that happens is this. You're getting a deep fatigue, like you're running sprints, yet you're walking, like you're lifting heavy weights, but you're using tubing or little dumbbells. And you're creating a deep fatigue that stimulates growth hormone. But here's the incredible part. You're not feeling any pain because it's light. You don't have soreness the next day. And 15 to 30 minutes after this exercise, and it's proven by science, you get a big growth hormone surge. And I'm talking about a growth hormone surge that most of you have never experienced since you were a teenager. Now, let me repeat this one statement. Most of you have never experienced this type of growth hormone surge since your teenage years, and you're going to start getting it every day. Look at this exercise chart. On the left side is a group of middle-aged men, approximately 50 years old, doing bicep curls. To maximal fatigue, think 3 sets of 8 of 35 pounds. When they fatigue, pushing as hard as they can, they get down to about 35% oxygen. And this is measured with an infrared spectrometer. So they're getting very little growth hormone. Most people are not getting any. Some people are getting a little. Look what happens when these same men put the bands on, or you put the bands on and go for a walk. Look at the fatigue level. You're getting down here around 20% oxygen. Let me tell you who typically can hit these fatigue levels. Michael Phelps, Lance Armstrong, collegiate track athletes, power lifters, weight lifters, boxers, Olympic athletes. You are creating a safe and non-pain producing fatigue and burn in your muscles similar to an Olympic level athlete. And look at this study. This was done on 11 middle-aged men, 25 times increase in growth hormone. Let me put this in perspective for all of you. For all of the 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40, 50, 60, 70, we might have some 80 years old on this call. Many of you, even in your teenage years, never experienced growth hormone like this. But I can assure you, if you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you are not getting anywhere near this with your exercise, and you're working harder. And when you turn on this growth hormone, incredible things happen in the body. And then we give you access to a product that's going to give you all the raw nutrients for your body to turn back the clock, for your skin, hair, and nails to get younger, for your joints and connective tissue and heart valves, even your gums inside your mouth to get younger. It's a collagen product with all kinds of nutrients that works with growth hormone. Dr. Jennings is going to talk a little bit about this. So who are the bands for? It's for everybody. Busy moms, dads, kids, seniors, athletes at all levels, people in pain, people with disease processes, people who have injury, or are rehabbing, or are physically challenged. And now we're seeing professionals all across the country. You're going to hear from 2 of them tonight. athletes, celebrities. Look over there in the bottom left-hand corner. That's a top 5 box office Hollywood celebrity that uses the bands all the time. Guy's name is Mark Wahlberg. The next guy there, Nick Cannon. So this is just not some moms and dads that are using this. This is some of the smartest, most elite level athletes and celebrities across the country using it. Let's look at some of the people who are getting results. I'll give you an example. This is Keith. Keith plays 10 to 15 hours a week of pickleball, a light or medium intensity exercise. What's the problem? He's not getting growth hormone, and he's been gaining weight since he was in his 20s. He's about 30 pounds overweight, and he's frustrated. Here's a guy out exercising 15 hours a week, can't lose weight. Problem? It's not high intensity. He puts the bands on and simply plays pickleball for the first 15 to 20 minutes. He lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks. It turned the pickleball into high intensity exercise. He's now getting growth hormone, losing weight fast. Kathy and Ronnie, all they want to do is walk the dog. They don't want to go to the gym. They don't want a trainer screaming in their ear. They don't want a $5,000 home exercise gym. We put demands on them. They simply walk the dog for 15 to 20 minutes. They feel a burn in their legs like they're running sprints, but they're not sore the next day. It turns on growth hormone. They lost 40 pounds together in 6 weeks, building muscle at any age. Look up there in the top right-hand corner, Dr. Chris, he's one of our doctors out of Tyler, Texas, 75 years old. In 8 weeks, he put 1 inch on his arms and 2 inches on his thighs. How is that possible at 75? You can get growth hormone at any age and build muscle without the bands if you can tolerate heavy weightlifting, which most 70-year-olds cannot do. Put the bands on them, 15 to 20-minute light weights, building muscle. Here's a professional bodybuilder, Harry, is now lifting 1/3 of the weight he used to do, reducing his workout time with the bands on, building more muscle than he was with heavy weights. And young people put on muscle faster than ever. Here's Harry. Let me show you a little video. This is Harry doing lunges. That's a weight that typically would be 5 times heavier. That's 50 pounds. He typically uses 225. What's the difference? We've slowed down the oxygen into his quad muscles, and he fatigues faster, but the magic is he fatigues deeper. Here he's doing forearms with 5-pound weights. He usually uses 25-pounders. Look at the look on his face. We reduce the oxygen, and he fatigues dramatically quicker. How about people who like to go for a light swim? Kathy and Estes are in their 80s. Now swim with the bands. Within a month, they're leaner, stronger, fitter, cardiovascular system stronger, bones are denser, no change in diet, simply light swimming with the bands. Do you have an athlete at home? You want to give them an unfair advantage? Emily's a college volleyball player, already in elite level shape. Put the bands on her. She simply did the same training with the bands on, put 6 inches on her vertical leap. There's my son, Colin, now a college football player. All we did was add the bands to his speed training. He improved his speed by close to 10%, went to Ohio State football camp, ran a 4.35 That turned into 10 Division I scholarships. And Scott down there, the top men's senior pickleball player in the world, trains with the bands, reduced his workout time in half, took his pickleball to an entire new level. What are the other benefits? Well, you're going to look better, feel younger, build muscle, get leaner. But guess what else happens? In this study, women walking for 3 weeks showed increased laying down of new bone, which means more mineralization or potential exciting treatment for osteoporosis. But it just makes sense. These senior women can't do high intensity exercise. Put the bands on them, their body thinks they're lifting heavy weights, their bones get stronger. Your cardiovascular system gets younger. When you put the bands on and start to feel the burn, you get a release of 2 powerful substances, nitric oxide and vascular endothelial growth factor. Don't worry about looking those up, just worry about what they do. They help your cardiovascular system get younger. This reverses cardiovascular disease. But look, this is no secret. If we could get our entire population of 50 to 80-year-olds doing 4 days a week of 45 minutes of vigorous aerobic activity and then strength training 2 days a week, we'd see a dramatic drop in cardiovascular disease. And we all know that. They can't do it. Well, here's studies showing that light exercise, walking with BFR bands, does that exact thing. Guess what else BFR does? It stimulates your immune system. I'm not going to talk to you tonight about any specific, issue we're dealing with. I'm just going to talk to you about how the body works. When you do vigorous exercise, your natural white blood cell killer cells increase. It's no coincidence that the athletic population of people in the United States are of the lowest percentage of people who get immune system problems and actually even get symptoms. We have an entire population of people who exercise every day that are virtually asymptomatic. Why? High intensity exercise boosts your immune system. Here's a study studying the effects of putting bands on like B3 bands that shows the exact same benefit, a strong boost to your immune system. It's a shame our doctors that are on TV every day aren't telling us, in addition to all the other things we can do, that you need vigorous exercise because it's proven. Guess what else gets healthier? Your brain. When you do high intensity exercise, or in this study, light weightlifting with B3 bands or BFR bands, your blood flow in your brain increases, and it provides fertilizer to protect your brain. And finally, even varicose veins, which the most important part of that is venous compliance, which is the ability for your veins to expand and contract as blood moves through there. And look, we know this. People who do regular endurance type exercise have the highest venous compliance and the lowest rate of varicose veins. Here's a study. 16 women aged 59 to 78, 6 weeks. The group that had the BFR bands on like B3 had a significant improvement in venous compliance or the elasticity in their veins. Solution, people who are worried about varicose veins, we can simply go for a walk with B3 bands. Even thyroid gets benefit from BFR exercise. We already know that high intensity exercise increases thyroid hormones. Have you ever heard of hypothyroidism, sluggish thyroid, being low on energy, sluggish, weight gain? High intensity exercise, everyone helps that. But again, most of us can't do high intensity exercise. The solution, 10 to 15 minutes of light exercise with B3 bands can help turn on thyroid stimulating hormone. And finally, even pain gets better. We've got a whole population, and even in B3 sciences, we have a big group of people who are getting pain relief. Why? When you do BFR exercise, you immediately feel this pump in your muscles, like you're lifting heavy weights. And all of us have felt it, that wonderful pump, that euphoric feeling we get when we're pumped up. Guess what? It happens within minutes of doing light exercise with BFR. There's the study down in the bottom left-hand corner. And this actually increases blood flow throughout your entire body and brings blood flow and oxygen to areas of pain and stiffness like arthritis, rheumatoid, gout, tendinitis, fibromyalgia, injuries, pulled muscles. And then they start feeling better. And then these people that have pain can then actually get high intensity exercise, a release of growth hormone, can actually start seeing healing in their body. A peer review of 30 studies, 28 concluded on BFR. It improves strength, puts muscle on men and women, has positive impacts on bone health, promising reports on aerobic capacity, and has shown no evidence for increased risk of thrombosis or clotting. And finally, a study of 12,000 people, 32,000 sessions of BFR. Here's what they concluded. BFR training is safe for healthy people and can be applied to persons with various kinds of physical conditions, including cerebrovascular diseases, orthopedic diseases, obesity, cardiac diseases, neuromuscular diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and respiratory disease. Bottom line is this: if your doctor has approved you to do exercise, you can do a similar exercise that you're already doing and put the bands on and be safe. Well, let's hear tonight from one of these advanced doctors out there who I believe not only in what he's already doing, which is cutting edge, but now he's added B3 bands. This is Dr. Clay Coker. He's been practicing for over 20 years, South Carolina. He's family medicine and sleep therapy board certified. But what's really cool about Dr. Clay in a world of medicine and prescription drugs is he has an affinity and a knowledge and a passion for functional medicine, nutrition, fitness. He uses peptides to create anti-aging and longevity in the body. And when he found B3 bands, it was a perfect fit. So Dr. Clay, great to have you on tonight and hear, from somebody besides me, especially somebody who's out there, treating hundreds of people all the time. What's happening out there with B3 bands. So welcome, Dr. Clay.
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I'm excited to talk about B3 bands. I spent a lot of time talking about them lately, especially. Got started about 8 weeks ago now, maybe right at 2 months ago, started looking at this even longer and discovered BFR, the benefits of it, began to look at it, comparing it to peptides and the anti-aging effects of growth hormone, the sleep improvement, pain improvement, and began to look at it. I found these bands from doing some research and bought them for myself, my family. I have 10 kids, 9 swimmers, competitive year-round swimmers. I was looking for a way to give them the opportunity to excel. I was looking for a way to improve my fitness and health, and help my father, who's 83, still practicing medicine as a family doctor, and helping him live longer and live better. So that's how I got started with this. My father-in-law is also quite interested. He said, "Clay, I need to find a way to exercise." And he's interesting because he's 74 years old. He lost an arm and a leg in Vietnam. He's lived an incredible life despite that. And he was looking for a way to exercise. And so I've got him started on the bands about 10 days ago now. So he's hopefully going to be seeing some real benefits in the near future. So I see real benefits of blood flow restriction therapy from an anti-aging standpoint. I see it in myself. I see it as I have begun to put on some muscle, lose some weight, and improve my resting heart rate. I see the effects of stress reduction from that. I see the improvement in my athletic performance, but more importantly, the athletic performance of my kids. As they swim, they're competitive. They want the advantages or the opportunity to excel. I feel like this is a big, important part of that. And then I see improvement as I research this and look into the value of the anti-aging from the standpoint of growth hormone, not just growth hormone, from a standpoint of maintaining muscle and repair and sleep, improvement in bone density, bone strength, improvement in neurologic function, providing that lactic acid, an extra energy source for the brain, improvement in brain-derived neurotrophic factor to improve neuroplasticity, to maintain neurologic function, even improve neurologic function. So at least that's what some of the initial studies are showing. So I think BFR is a great way to help my patients, to help my family, to help my patients, and help myself in dealing with aging and performance.
Awesome, Dr. Clay. So tell me this, you actually joined the company, not only using it in your, with your family and your practice, but you started sharing it, with some other doctors, which is not, it's not the most common thing for a doctor to go out and want to tell other doctors. You're actually taking the time to do that. Why is that?
Well, I feel like it's a great opportunity to help my patients. First of all, I just think that this is going to be remarkable and a way to improve the lives of the people around me. I feel like this is the forefront of a new, like you say, a new way to exercise. This is going to be very attractive for a wide range of people, old and young, from swimmers to football players like your son, swimmers like my kids, and to the older population, to prevent injury and improve their health. And I see this as a great market, and on being on the front edge and a way to get it out to people in a very safe method of exercising. This basically that it can take any exercise and turn it into BFR exercise.
Exactly. Yeah, I tell people all the time, this isn't Billy Blanks and Tybo, this isn't P90,
right.
This is not Bowflex, this is not another regurgitation of a way to exercise. This isn't going away, is it, Doc?
Right. No, I don't think it is. I think this is a way to keep exercising the way you exercise. I've heard someone say, I had a friend who said, well, yeah, I'm looking at this particular way of exercising. Well, that just does that's one way of exercising. This is very functional, whether you're a golfer, whether you're a swimmer, whether you're a runner, whether you want to do CrossFit. I do a type of exercise. I do get together with a bunch of guys and do F3, and it prepares me for that. And we do some crazy things, but I'm prepared to do it and can do it without hurting myself to prepare to do the exercise that we do on a regular basis. So
exactly. Well, Dr. Coker, it's great to have you on. We'll get you back on here in a few months and start to hear some of the wonderful stories. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Mike.
Okay, let's go to our next doctor, Dr. Steve Jennings. He's been practicing over 33 years, and this is one of the top chiropractors in the country. He has treated patients from every continent except Antarctica, and I've actually met other chiropractors who have joined B3 who knew Dr. Jennings and didn't even know his B3. You know how they know him? Because they travel all across the Midwest to see this guy. So, I mean, he's one of the top chiropractors. He's treated over 20,000 patients. And I love that he kind of brings a different perspective. We've got, Dr. Coker on the medical side in the family practice. And here, I'm going to ask Dr. Jennings to unmute himself. Here now we got somebody on the chiropractic side that's coming from a different discipline. And Dr. Jennings, great to have you on tonight. Welcome to the presentation.
Am I up?
Yep, you're up, Dr. Jennings. Can you hear us?
Get my picture up here. Yes, I can hear you.
I just want to tell a quick story. Dr. Jennings is there. He's in the picture there on the screen.
Family.
Lovely wife, Mary. And, when I met him, he just wanted to put some muscle on. And let me tell you something, that arm you see in that picture, when I met him, when I went to a small town in Indiana, that arm did not look like that when I first met him. And now, he's ready for the gun show. He's been putting muscle on his guns. But Doc, tell us about your experience and then, what's going on, what you're seeing with the bands.
Okay, well, thank you for having me on. And I have to correct you on one thing. I've been in practice 43 years, starting October 1st.
Oh my gosh.
And seen probably over 25,000 patients. And I love taking care of difficult patients. I want a challenge. I've probably gone to over $100,000 worth of classes I wouldn't have had to, and read about 9 different books, bookcases of books. But there's still a lot to learn. And I was amazed when I come across B3 bands. I think they're the biggest revolution in exercise therapy that I have ever seen. But let me tell you how I got into this. I got a call from Dr. Dennis Brickner. He's a great chiropractor in Ohio. He was best friends with my brother, Dr. Doug Jennings, who's also a chiropractor in Logansport, Indiana. And he told me about the B3 bands, and he said he's in Senior Olympics. He won 1 gold in Senior Olympics, started working out with the bands, and he won 6 different golds. That was impressive. So he invited me down to a B3 meeting in Indianapolis. I looked it up and I decided not to go. I said, well, they're putting rubber bands of some sort around the arms and legs, and they actually have to exercise. Yuck. I said to myself, not another exercise gimmick. And believe me, this is no fad. I said, I've got 6 or 7 expensive exercise devices collecting mostly dust in my basement. I hate to exercise. I have no time. I hurt for days afterwards. Even though I was an athlete in high school, I've not really worked out for a long, long time. I felt healthy. I mean, I had all kinds of great excuses. Even though I've read books about exercise, I had great excuses that many patients have. In fact, one of them was a quote from Mark Twain. He said, once in a while, I get this urge to exercise, and I just lies down till it passes. That was me. I thought I did better taking a nap than exercising. I was a certified couch potato, okay? So, but I wanted to run this past. I like researching things. I run it past Dr. Greg Adams, which is a personal friend of mine. He is my chiropractor. He was a physical therapist before he was a chiropractor, and he was valedictorian of his class. So that's first. Then he convinced me. Some of the things that convinced me was exercising half the time, half the weight, and better results. Well, that gets a couch potato's attention. It really does. And then when they started talking about increasing the human growth hormone 25 times, that's the anti-aging hormone. That starts a whole cascade of other hormones going. That got my attention. So my first major workout was at my brother Doug's house with Dr. DeBoard. And he put me through the 3-minute guns and a 4-minute booty and then a plank as long as you can. It probably lasted 8 or 9 minutes. And I could really feel the burn. I've never felt that in decades. I thought, I'm not going to get out of bed tomorrow. I won't be able to move. Well, I did get out of bed tomorrow, and I felt a little achiness, but nothing like I expected. So I gave it a day off, exercised the second time a couple days later, and what little burn what little soreness I did have at that time went away, and I had no more after that. So I'm thinking, why is that doing that? Why am I not getting so achy and sore? And recently I researched that stem cells, this blood flow resistance stimulates myogenic stem cells. Now there's lots of people paying thousands of dollars for stem cell injections to help pain and help regenerate tissue. Well, this seems to be doing that. Maybe that's one reason I didn't feel all that pain. So I also told Dr. DeBoard, I feel healthy, okay? I do all my advanced blood tests that I do in my office and muscle checking on supplements. I mean, I've been doing functional medicine before functional medicine became popular. And I said, I feel good, but my testosterone was a little on the low side. I was starting to feel the effects of the last few years of low libido. Now, I thought before I was going to talk about this, that'd be a little embarrassing to talk about, especially with my daughter, Christine, listening to me right now. She's smiling. I see her right now. But he said that human growth hormone will trump testosterone every time. And I did not want to get the shots or anything like that. He said, do it for 30 days and you'll thank me. And I did it for 30 days and I had to thank him. So men, maybe that's the only thing that will motivate you to exercise, but it's worth doing. Let me tell you about two of my patients I want to talk about. One is maybe three. One is a 50-something-year-old lady that came to me with lung and bone cancer. Those are two very difficult types of cancer to whip. Most patients don't make it. They have a very poor prognosis. She did not want to do chemotherapy or radiation. I said, well, I don't treat cancer, but what I do is I help the body to adapt, help the body to function better, and help the body to heal itself. So that's what it's really all about. It's not, cancer is not a deficiency of radiation and chemotherapy, believe me. Now, some doctors may disagree with me on that, but anyways, I said, all your choices are yours. Whatever you decide to do, I'll be behind you and support you for whatever you want to do. She's been with me for about 6 months now. She's doing the B3 bands and everything I say tell her to do, and she's feeling great, just absolutely great, okay? Usually they go downhill pretty quick when they get those two cancers. I have a 68-year-old female former bodybuilder. In the last couple of years, she has had a couple of grandkids I think in her teens, die. And so she's become very depressed, crying all the time, and actually was suicidal. She admitted to my secretaries. Has severe fibromyalgia and can't possibly exercise. She's been under my care for some time, but nothing I did or could say would really help her much. And she bought the B3 bands. She came in a short time later, said, I'm working out with these bands for 20 minutes twice a day. I said, well, I've never even done that. I said, you might want to back off a little bit at first. I don't know, but she is a different person. She is happy. She's excited about life, and her fibromyalgia is almost all cleared up. But she's also taking START, which is one of Dr. Mike's products, and I want to talk about that right now. Let me tell you how I do testing in my office. Nutrition and chiropractic is one of the biggest combinations I use, as well as emotional. So you got to tackle all three: emotional, biochemistry, and structural. Now, no offense to the doctor who just spoke. I'm sure he studied a lot more than this, but the average MD has probably only got 2 or 3 hours of nutritional under his belt. He might study biochemistry, but as far as practical nutrition, how to use it in the clinic, it's just not there, okay? So I have had in my 43 years of practice, probably over 1,000 different products at one time or another from all the major companies. And I'm very picky as to what I have in my clinic. I check everything in health food stores. I check everything that patients drag in for me to take. And I'm just very, very picky for 2 reasons. 1, my reputation is at stake. And 2, their health and their life is at stake. So I have to have the best. I use muscle testing, or called applied kinesiology, to check supplements and allergies and things like that. And Mary says, I'm going overtime here. Can I keep going? Okay. I'm not sure if you're familiar with muscle checking, but if you check for a strong muscle and then hold something that you might want to take, whether it's a medicine or a food or a supplement, and if it goes weak, that means it's doing you more harm than good. Either it's an allergy or a sensitivity, or it's toxic, or it's contaminated. It might be doing something for you, but it's doing more harm than good. If it checks strong, that means your body likes it, wants it, and needs it, and is in harmony with it. We can go a few steps further and find out why it's that way, if it checks bad, and where it's affecting you the most, but that's really not all that necessary. So I've checked all these products, and 80 to 90% of the products out there are absolute junk. They have bad fillers, they have bad sources, they have processing problems, they're synthetic, they're unbalanced, and I've learned a long time ago you can't judge a product by its label. I've seen some very fancy, very lengthy ingredient list on products you think would be fantastic and they check horrible, and some with just a few ingredients in that check good. It's the way they synergistically work together and enhance each other and the energy of those products that really counts. So I knew I was going to have to talk about START tonight. My wife and I both take START, and like I said, we are very picky as to which supplements we take. So I checked on as many patients yesterday afternoon, just in the afternoon yesterday, that I could think of to test for. I had 3 kids that did not need it. One was 3 years old, my own granddaughter, and an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old. But every adult needed START, okay? In fact, that's the one that my fibromyalgia patient is on. There's some good ingredients in there. For one thing, there's essential fatty acids. Most of the population has a horrible imbalance of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids, and they eat the wrong bad fats and they don't eat enough good fats. And it's been shown that if that goes way out of balance, people get depressed, suicidal, and angry. And good fatty acids are good for the cardiovascular system. DHA is good for the brain and good for the joints. So it's got that in there, but it also has 3 sources of good collagen. They're all vegetation sources. 2 of them have been proven, absolutely proven, on human studies. Collagen is good for connective tissue. So if you're a chiropractor that's listening and you have aches and pains in your patients, they need to be on this stuff. It's an anti-aging thing, helps the skin, helps wrinkles, helps the nails, helps your joints, helps your hair. Fantastic stuff. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to prevent your wrinkles or actually turn them around, but anti-aging doesn't mean you're never going to die or age, okay? But we can do many things to slow things up, and I think that's what START is doing for people. The human growth hormone is anti-aging, but you need to give it some food to support it. So that's what START does, and I think it's a fantastic product. One more story. Do I have time? I don't have time about my dad. Okay, I'll turn it over to Dr. DeBoard. Thanks for listening.
Dr. Jennings, appreciate it. And, I'm going to be back up in Indiana seeing Dr. Jennings and his lovely wife and the rest of that group up there. They've got such an awesome, and just the stories we are getting, from people like Dr. Jennings talk, fibromyalgia, athletes that are people losing weight are just absolutely incredible. And we look forward to hearing from, our doctors again in the future. So how do you get started? Well, look, if you're watching this live presentation or recorded presentation, somebody cared enough about you to tell you about this new way to exercise. And it is really easy to get started with our company. First, we're going to show you a way to order your bands that are going to fit your size. Next, most important, we're going to give you a coach from our company that's going to send you a program with easy to follow videos. You can even print out the exercise guide, and you'll have one of these programs to choose from. We even have 15 additional programs, like for golf or basketball or speed training or advanced muscle building or swimming. Whatever it is you're looking to improve, we will have a custom program for you. And then your coach is going to be there at any time to answer any questions you have. So I can tell you one thing that never happens in this company is somebody gets the bands and they don't know what to do. That never happens. We're going to show you exactly what to do. Next, if for any reason in your first 30 days of having the bands in your hand, not 30 days from when you order, from when they arrive, you don't absolutely love the experience, send them back. Send them back used, dirty, sweaty, even send back the products that you've tried, and I'm going to take it all back and give you all your money back. That's our 30-day money-back guarantee. We've sold over 7,500 sets of bands. To date, less than 20 of these have come back. Next, if you are on a tight budget and you prefer to get involved in a payment program, we have a 0 down, 0 interest program for 6 months. Just today, we had 2 more people use that for about $75 a month. you can get into the B3 bands. To learn more about that, simply contact us and we'll share with you how you can do that with PayPal. And then finally, once you start using the bands, I always say to people, you want to use them, or do you want to use them and share them with people and add a great additional income? Because right now we are looking for coaches all across the country that first want to get in the best shape of their life, but then know some people that they want to share it with, family, friends, people in the area, so that you can join us right now. We're at 7,500 people, and over the next 4 to 5 years, we expect to exceed 1 million people. And when we do, we're going to share annually, when we hit our goal, over $400 million a year with people just like you. Now, you might think, hey, I just want to use the bands, but how many people could use an extra income stream? An extra $500 a month, or maybe an extra $5,000 a month. We will have people in our company that will far exceed $10,000 per month in income by just sharing it with the people they care about. So as this opportunity is growing, right now we are a relatively unknown company that needs people like you in cities all across the country. But I can tell you this, when we hit the tipping point, which is a marketing term, in about 6 to 9 months, then we will go into hyper growth. And I think we all know the advantages of being in on an opportunity when it's relatively unknown, when you're at the beginning. And that's what you're looking at right now with the B3 opportunity. So what's your 3 options? Well, if you just want to use the bands or try them, that's our customer program. You get a $720 value for $429, bands that are going to fit your size, plus a free set of exercise tubing. Now, it's bands for your arms and legs, and the exercise tubing is going to allow you to exercise from anywhere. You're going to get a 30-day program sent to you, and then you've got a B3 coach to assist you for 1 year. If you want to do the coach option, meaning you want to use the bands, you'd like to try one of our products like that fabulous start product, and you think you'd like to share it and make some additional money, that's only $599. It's a $920 value. You get bands, you get gear like that cool backpack, shaker cup, and the tubing. You get to pick one of the products. I'd recommend the Start. We'll give you training on how to go out and use your website, and you can even enroll later in an optional B3 BFR certification program, an online course that's about 5 hours where we will certify you as an exclusive BFR certified coach. And then you've got a business to build unlimited income potential. And like many of the people that are on the call tonight, you can even inquire about our exclusive B3 Founder Program. It's an exclusive membership, invite only, where you will be a founder. You'll get multiple sets of bands. You'll even get a reserved seat in the next certification program to become BFR certified. You get to share in a 2% sales pool with the other founders. And I am even going to personally assist you on helping you build a successful business as a founder. Now, we have got a limited number of founders that we are accepting in all major markets across the country. So if you'd like to know more about this, get back to the person who referred you tonight. For questions, you can contact support at B3 Sciences, or if you got questions about workout programs, contact coach at B3 Sciences, and you can even email me if you're interested in the founder program, or maybe have some specialized situations where you'd like to ask questions about the B3 bands. So I want to thank everyone for attending tonight. Tonight was an awesome special presentation. Especially want to thank Dr. Clay Coker and Dr. Steve Jennings for sharing that exciting information tonight. If you're a guest, get back to the person who referred you. And most importantly, get a set of B3 bands so you can get on your way to being healthy, being fit, and being strong.